Hey there, my friends. Hope you had a good weekend. If you're in any part of the states where they're currently expecting this heat wave, I hope you stayed cool. We actually are back to normal hot right now. We had our little heat dome a couple of weeks ago, but fingers crossed right now it's actually livable. But another non-food video today. I want to talk about 3 health practices I'm currently focused on. Some of this is an extension of my last video on aging well, but also this weekend I kind of got down another rabbit hole of something. I didn't totally stumble onto this. It was a rabbit hole that I just got further down into. Some of it was, and it all comes from like one person to another person to another person. I still highly recommend you read the book I'm currently reading, which is Built to Move by Dr. Kelly and Juliet Starrett. And a lot of this stuff came from in there, but as I went down a rabbit hole, they have a podcast, and I listened to a couple of people on their podcast, and then I liked one of their guests on their podcast, and then I went to her podcast, and then I came across this other woman that her name is Jill Miller, and she has a book called Body by Breath. Body by Breath, something like that anyway. And hers goes even a little past breath work and stuff. They call her the rolling lady, like with those foam rollers and various balls of different sorts. And it's about working these areas and making them more pliable. But anyhow, that's not what I'm getting into. That's just something. That's probably my next book, though, is hers. But one of the things that all of these people are talking about, and I have heard a lot in the past, but sometimes it just really hits you, or maybe you've heard it enough times to where it finally sticks. And one of my biggest health practices now is just working on doing anything I can to spend less time sitting. I sit way too much. And I've been hearing this phrase over and over, and it's a bit of an exaggeration. Even the people that say it will tell you that it's hyperbole, but not too much. And it's like that sitting is the new smoking, meaning that, most sane people figured out a long time ago that smoking was very detrimental to your health. And sitting, there are people like, with the way society is now and the way, like with technology, so many people make their living sitting at a desk in front of a computer all the time. That's why it's good to see all these walking desks. And even in my house, I've got a spot in the house that I'm like, well, this is where I need to be working, and it's actually where my tripod is set up right now. It's actually higher up, so I can work like that. So I'm just working on reducing that time sitting, because when we sit so much, it makes so many problems for it. It messes up the alignment of our body. It throws our hips out of alignment. And not to mention the lymph that's just not getting circulated and that just pools up, That's why a lot of times you got those cankles when you get off of a long flight, if you haven't actually been proactive and gotten up and walked around a lot. And that's where the deep vein thrombosis comes from. All of this stuff comes from sitting. So I would highly recommend that however you do it. I do see a lot of people with stand-up desk. I see a lot of people with walking desks now, so you can even get a little movement in there as well. But whatever you can do, I highly recommend. And some people, listen, you might have a high stress job. You might have the type of job that you can't just willy-nilly do whatever you want whenever you want to. But I got to think that most people out there working, at the very least, try to get up at least once an hour. Try to get up at the very least once an hour. Maybe walk to the water cooler, walk around the office a couple of times. And if you can't do that, just get up and pump your legs a little bit, but stop sitting so much. The next one is walking. Now, I've mentioned in the past that I walk, or that I've enjoyed walking in the past, and at times I've walked rather heavy. But this is a little bit different, because I'm not talking about walking as exercise, even though walking is very good exercise. We need, and that's another thing that comes about sitting, like even if you're going and doing a vigorous workout every day, it's not so good for us if we go and do our workout, no matter how hard we push it, if we sit around the rest of the day. So I like the idea that they propose in the book I'm reading, is that getting in like getting steps per day, kind of just as a supplemental thing, just to keep our body moving, not being the workout, but just something we need to do, all the time. Now, once again, people are busy. People have work, they have kids, they have all kind of obligations. So not everybody can, and I don't know why they figured out that kind of 8 to 12,000, that's the zone where doing that day after day, along with whatever exercise you're getting, just really helps a lot. So hey, and you might not be able to get that all in one chunk. So you might be saying, well, I don't have time to go out for an hour or however long that would take you to get that amount of steps. So walk throughout the day. You get up in the morning, whatever you're doing, maybe you have some time, maybe you're having coffee, or maybe you're having whatever your morning routine. Maybe you can do a little bit of walking in the morning. You get some walks in. Ideally, we should be walking all throughout our day, because it's because that's what we used to do. We walked. Walking was part of our jobs. Walking was part of feeding ourselves. Walking was part of everything. So people people 100 years ago didn't have to think about, am I getting my steps in today? They were just doing all day, every day. So walk. Get out there and walk. Enjoy walking. It's so hot here in the summer. I mentioned last week that I joined the YMCA here. I don't know why I waited so long, and they've got a place to walk there, and I just really enjoy walking there because it's not 112 degrees, so I can walk any time of the day. And the third practice is something that I touched on the other day, and the aging, and that's also something I really started focusing on with this book, Built to Move, and that is hip mobilizations. And look that up. I mean, not everybody's going to go out there and buy every book that I say, but look up hip mobilizations. Here's how I search. Do a search on Google. Hip mobilizations, Kelly Starrett. Hip mobilizations, Juliet Starrett. Maybe even search their name and search couch stretch or couch test, because the couch stretch is one of the, and I know I'm standing up and I can't verbally tell you how to do it, but if you just go see the couch test or the couch stretch, you'll understand. But that's about working those hips, loosening them up, and bringing them back in alignment, because once again, so much I don't know anatomy, I don't know that kind of stuff. I'm not like a scientist. But it's really fascinating. You would think that there's connection through parts of our body, but the hips being out of alignment cause back pain, neck pain, knee pain, ankle pain, so many different things, because when that one part is off, and the hip alignment being so crucial, that leads to other problems. And all of these type things, cumulative, are the things that make us age, the things that are going to make us become immobile and seem to age before our time, because once we can't move anymore, that's pretty much it. You know how it is when people they have some sort of illness or whatever, or they just get into a certain phase of life and they're not moving anymore. It's pretty much downhill from there. So not everything is about food. Regardless how you choose to eat, how I choose to eat, maybe you eat like me, maybe you don't. But I think we can all agree that food is not sufficient. It's not the only thing, and it's that we do need health practices beyond that. So these are just little things. You can work them in. It's not like you have to have this long list of things to do every day. But I highly recommend you to look into some of this. Highly recommend you to look into some of these book recommendations, because I'm reading some really good stuff and listening to some really good stuff lately. And once again, I'm going to kind of push podcast on you. All these things that I say, go search on Google or go read the book. If you're not going to read the book, or if you want to hear a little preview, go search them wherever you get your podcast. There's infinite knowledge out there on these little things we call podcasts. So go out there and get some. Anyhow, hope you guys enjoyed this video today. If you like it, please give me a thumbs up. Have a beautiful week, and I'm sure I'll see you a couple or three more times before it's over. Peace.